I thought I would show you a bare minimum wire wrap pendant using just two types of wire. One is square, and this is 20 gauge, and half round 22 gauge. With these two wires and some basic tools, you can make a wire wrap pendant. You don't even need to start with any fancy stone. You could pick one up at the beach in a parking lot, and that'll work just fine. Take the square wire, and we're going to estimate how much wire go around, and then you need to leave a little extra for the bail. So that will do just fine. And now I will cut 3 pieces. I have the wire straightened out, and I have a piece of half round, 6 inches. And if you see, there's one side is flat, and that would snug up against the wires when I wrap them, and the other side is finished and half round. So we'll take this and we will estimate the center. You don't need to be perfect though. We will adjust it. Just wrap those 3 wires together. Push them together. And then I check my stone, and that will be just right. So we'll take our flush cutters and snip off the extra. Take our flat pliers and then move that to the center and press, but you don't want to make it so they won't move. You want to be able to adjust this. Be sure your cut ends are facing the stone. Center your coil and then just form it around the stone of your choosing. And if you're just beginning, you probably want to stick with a somewhat symmetrical piece, just because it's a little easier to learn. Now you want to leave some space up here to tuck your wires. Take the needle nose and squeeze together, and that is going to form our basic frame. We will make a basic bell with half round wire. We start by holding the 2 sides together. Wrap it around 4, 5, 6 times, and then place it inside the frame. Snip off the excess. And give it a little squeeze. Take the 2 back wires, bend them out of the way so that you have the 2 front, which we will wrap the rest of the way with half round. This, I would say, just takes some practice. Personally, I did not like using the half round because you have to be kind of precise, and at the beginning I was impatient and not precise. So I preferred to do a woven bell, which I guess I still do, but I can do these. You just have to be careful. You want to keep the tension consistent. And you just wrap, and you have to be careful on the half round that you don't twist it, because once it gets twisted, oh, it's hard to come back from that. So I'll probably go about, I don't know, ½ inch more. I don't like to stop and start again because you can lose the flow. But it'll be okay. 9 times out of 10, you can fix a mistake. It might be a rare time when you can't salvage something, but it's not often. I think that's going to do it. Now, I'm pushing this down, and I'm going to spread the wire out, push it down, and just tighten that up so it's very tight in here. And then I will cut off, but I'm going to leave a little tail there in case I need a bit extra. So definitely you can see where I stopped and started again. So I don't know, it's probably best not to stop. Just keep going if you have the tension right. But I'm going to go with it because you can't always start over. Take the flat nose, and I'm going to press and just squeeze that down. See how bad we are off. No, it's not too bad. We have just a couple little things that we can maybe tweak. Go down the side. And that will do. Okay, this is the front of the pendant. We'll push the bell forward as such. Now I'm showing you just a free form, and just bend it. Just be kind of smooth in your actions. See, you don't even need a pencil or bell making pliers. You can just freeform it. Bring the wire around to the front. Give it a clip. Take just a little more of that off. You want to be careful when you do this that it's not poking out the back. You don't want it to irritate skin. I didn't mention, but we cut off that little tail there. So, I want to make sure that this is center to your bell. That's why we left it a little bit loose, so you could adjust it. I pull apart 3 wires just a bit, just so it's a little easier to get in there when you put your stone in. And we're ready for the stone. Okay. Needle nose. Okay, see that? That came a little bit loose, so before we go on, we want that to be just right. that I have at center, I am going to squeeze it a little bit, since we won't need to adjust it anymore. There. Okay. Back to the stone. Pop the stone in, and then you're going to go in between the back two wires and just curve it in. And do the same on this side. And that will hold your stone in on one side. There. And then you do the same on the front. Just want to be a little bit more careful on the front because you want it to be even. So now you have the basic frame, got your stone set, and now comes the creative part. You can do whatever you want up here. You could do spirals, you could do something very plain and simple. You can twist the wire, but on this piece, I am going to do more of a simple. So I'm going to just bring the wires around like that. This will be for a male, so I want to keep it somewhat simple, but give it a little bit of character. So I just snipped off the two, and I am going to tuck those both at the same time, but you can do one at a time if you don't feel comfortable doing both. So I brought those wires around the front, gives it a little more stability. And then I am going to bring one wire down, bring that around the front. Very plain. And now on this one, I do believe I am going to bring this around one more time. And then tuck it in the back. Nice and simple. Make sure you always check that your stone is really, really snug. I find that oftentimes you need to do a little adjustment at the end just to make it more stable. There we go. And then I will oxidize this tomorrow, and it's ready to go.